Welcome to Coffee with Closers. On this episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Albert Hatterai. He came over from an entirely different country to start a new life in America. In this video, we're going to go through his story on how he started out in auto sales and then transitioned into real estate sales, where he found success. We're going to learn about some of his hard lessons that he had to learn as a real estate agent, and then some of the things that he did to be able to build a successful business. We get into prospecting, we get into sphere of influence marketing, and we also get into how he built a YouTube channel that generates him business on a consistent basis. So this video is packed with helpful tips to grow your business. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's dive right into the video. Welcome to Coffee with Closers. In this series, we interview top real estate producers that are out there making big things happen in the real estate industry. That way you can learn from their failures and their big wins so you can start winning more in your real estate business. So Albert, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
100%. So Albert, let's dive right into it. Tell us a little bit more about, your journey, your experience in real estate, and kind of your background before you started out.
Yeah. So it's been 5 years since I started in real estate. I actually had my 5-year anniversary a couple of months ago. I can't believe it's been 5 years already, but the last, 3 years during COVID, it just seems like time was kind of like mixed up together. So I don't even remember what happened in the last 3 years, but we're here. Yeah, it's been 5 years. I started in early 2018. Before that, I sold cars. And then before that, I was in the restaurant industry. I did events and things like that. So I've been in sales pretty much my whole adult life. I started in restaurants and when I was 21 years old, and then I moved up to management, event planning, selling events for corporates in New York. Then when I moved here, I started selling cars. That's when I really fell in love with sales, and I started understanding that you can get better at it. There's a way to handle objections, follow up, and all those things that we know when we talk about sales all the time. I did that for about a year and a half. I did pretty well, but I always knew that I wanted to do something of my own. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to do something entrepreneurial, and I knew that opening a dealership was an extremely complicated thing, and I wasn't going to wait around to figure out how I can open a dealership. So then I started looking at other things. Real estate came along, and it made a lot of sense. I looked at a lot of things. It made a lot of sense on the freedom side of things. The income opportunity was huge. Obviously, highly competitive, all that stuff. But the main thing for me was that I'm like, okay, I can get started with very little money, and I can I can learn how to cold call. And if I'm aggressive, I should be able to earn a good income. So that's how I got started. And then I just kind of hit the ground running day one.
That's huge. And you have more to your story than that. You also came from a different country. You came here with very little.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
Well,
grinded.
yeah. I mean, if you want me to go into that, but I moved to the States at 21 years old. I was a student. I moved to New York City, backpack, $200 in my pocket. I didn't know anyone or anything. So that's how I moved. That's how I got started in New York, but in the US, really, with zero connections. And then from there, I just really never stopped. I just, tried one thing after another until I figured it out, and this is where I am now,
Wow. And now car sales. A lot of people are in the auto space and they're looking to transfer over to real estate. Which one do you find more of a challenge?
More of a challenge, definitely real estate. I think real estate is way more challenging to succeed than in car sales. In car sales, you can really, if you want to earn a decent income, I'm not saying you're going to become a millionaire, but if you want to earn between $80,000 and $150,000 a year, you really don't need to be an expert at sales. You just kind of need to be at a dealership that supports new people, has a decent foot traffic, and gives you basic training. Right. So once you understand that, hey, you understand basic closes, you got to talk to 3 people a day. If you talk to 3 people a day, you should be able to sell 1 car a day. Right. Or if you talk to 5 people a day, you should be able to sell a car and a half a day. Right. It's really that simple as far as dealerships goes, because people, when they come there, you're not selling them the car. They know what a Toyota is. They've done the research. They're just coming to buy it. You're coming to buy the best deal. Now, I never worked in high-end cars, like selling Bentleys and Rolls Royces. So I don't know how that world is and how it works. But as far as Hondas, Toyotas, like daily regular cars for regular people, They usually want the best deal. They want a reliable car. They're already sold on the brand. So you're just kind of like the bridge that you just got like bridging the gap. Really, that's all you are as a salesperson. Find them the car, put them in car, finance, go home, do it again.
That's awesome. Okay. And how long did you do that for with the car sales?
I did that for about a year and a half. I did
Wow.
for about a year and a half. Yeah. So once I started, I was top 5% in the company right away. I made like we had this, I forget what it's called, but it was out of the 2,000 salespeople that they had, like it was a very small group of salespeople who made the top group on sales. I made that in my first year. And I did all right. And I slacked a lot. I was not organized. That was my first kind of self starting type job. So I had a lot of lessons, but I still through that did well. Like looking back at it back now, if I did it now, I could easily go and make 200 grand selling cars. Because it's an easy gig. You just got to talk to people and understand basic sales. That's really what it is.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. So you had that baseline foundation, you had some success in car sales, and then you transitioned to real estate. So when you got into real estate, what are some of the, big challenges that you kind of ran into, and what are the things that you learned once you get started with that whole new business?
So when I decided to get into real estate, it took me about 6 months to actually transition. So when I made a decision for 6 months during my car sales, I was taking classes, I was doing it online. And when I came home, 3 to 4 hours every night, I was researching the industry. I was seeing, what successful agents do, how to generate business. And that's when I started understanding cold calling, expires, FISBOs, circle prospecting, open houses, things like that cost very little money, but it require a lot of effort and time and skill to succeed. So that's what I decided to do. I just decided to pursue expired listings for sell by owners, open houses, and I just hit the ground running. And then I remember 2 days in the business, I called the for sell by owner, $450,000, signed the listing like 5 days later, and 25 days later we closed. I made $15,000, and then I just never looked back. I just started going from there.
That's huge. So you built your business with the foundational things like the, circle prospecting, on the phone, grinding things out. So you built that the first, how many years did you do that for before you?
I did that for the first. So this was 2018. I did it during 2018, on and off. Right. I'm not going to say I was consistent forever, because if I actually had done it for 3 hours a day, like they tell you to do every day, I probably would have sold 100 houses. I didn't do it. Like once I started getting busy, then I started focusing on transactions because I didn't have the know-how to manage a transaction and like the curveballs that you get into real estate. So I somehow managed to do like 15 deals my first year, which I thought was a success. I made grossed about 100K in commissions, and then second year I did very similar. I did the same thing, but I joined a team in my second year, and it didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. I was a little bit more distracted, coaching, fancy things, shiny objects. I kind of bought into that. So I didn't stay as focused. Then third year, which was 2020, I decided to do it again on my own. And I remember the end of my second year, which was 2019, like around November, I went on my own again, and I started hitting the phones heavy, right? Between November and March, like between November and end of February of 2020, I hit the phones hard, and in my pipeline, I had about $9 million worth of listings that I was going to list between like March and May, right? So I was going to crush it that year. But then we all know what happened in 2020, which was COVID, and literally 10 out of my 11 signed listings decided to not list their home. And I ended up going to zero in March, right? Which we all did because it was a crazy time. So then I just had to restart again, and then that thing happened. Then I signed up for lead sources. I did all this crazy shit that everyone does, and I had a good 2020, better 2021, and then an even better 2022, and now I'm in 2023, which is now I've kind of like come full circle, which is I've gone away from leads, paid leads, Facebook leads, Zillow, all those things. I've gone away from that, and I'm focused more on my sphere now. And I'm back to the the core that made me successful to begin with, which is phone calls, prospecting, expireds, like things like that. Which is because I think the next 24 months are going to be very challenging in our industry. So I'm ready to kind of go back to my roots. And I think that's the people who are going to be able to survive are the people who have skill. And I don't think you can buy your way out of this challenging market that we have ahead of us.
I agree 100%. That's huge. So with that being said, what percentage of your business is coming from prospecting? What percentage is coming from SOI? And then last but not least, I know you've really built something special as far as social media goes with a YouTube channel that's kind of become its own lead generation machine that's a lot more organic. So what's the kind of rough percentages look like?
I think this year I've been first half of the year, right? So first half of the year, I've been probably 60% sphere, 60% sphere and like leads and things like that, and then 40% has been YouTube. I want to say,
Wow,
yeah,
that's huge. Okay,
yeah.
so you're gonna dig into that a lot more. So I think there's a lot of agents out there. They're curious about YouTube. They don't really know too much about creating a channel that generates leads. But
Mhm.
what kind of made you get interested in starting a YouTube channel for your business?
I was looking for different ways to add something to my business, right? So I was looking for different ways that I could take advantage of this. So again, I just put my researcher's hat on and I started researching on what people are doing. So then I ran into some guy that was doing YouTube, and he had a course, bought the course for $400. I took the course, and I decided, I was like, oh, I can make sense of this. Let me just start it, right? Now, it was not easy. I mean, it took me about 6 months to even make my first legit video because it's really hard to understand. Like, you have to kind of become a amateur producer in a way to be able to succeed with YouTube. Because it's people who are on YouTube, like the people who are successful on YouTube have like legit production teams now. So you can't sound like an amateur. And I know like people in our industry will tell you, well, just shoot your video and it's going to be fine. You just have to put yourself out there. I really don't believe that. I think if you make a video and if it's not at least decent, I think you just look like a clown. I think it's going to work against you. If you don't know how to speak on camera, if you don't know how to edit or how to put audio and all that good stuff together, I'm not saying to be a high production level, just like a basic level that is easy on the eye and easy on the ear. You have to understand those things to be able to succeed at a certain level. But if you just have like, if you're all over the place, like if it's completely amateur hour, I do believe that it's going to work against you.
That makes sense. So when you first started, you had that moment where you were producing videos that weren't so great, and then they kind of flipped into becoming better and better and better. Um,
Mhm.
what kind of how long did it take for you to catch traction, or have your first
Six
video
months.
that made sense? 6 months. Okay,
6 months. Yeah, 6 months. I got my first lead, I believe, and then I got from there it just started kind of going. And now I just spoke to someone today that they're looking to buy an investment property um, in Providence. So
that's huge. So basically, with this lead generation channel, you're producing videos, you're making valuable content on your particular town that you're going to be trying to attract clients in. And are
mhm.
you doing anything extra from there? Are you doing like call to actions? Are you doing landing pages to capture the leads? Or are you just kind of dropping your number in the description box and saying, hey, call me if you're interested?
Yeah. So yeah, I do a call to action. So I enter almost every video the same way, which is subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions about buying or selling in Rhode Island, this is what I do. I'm a local real estate agent here. My number is right below. You can call the number, and then I also have a link where you can book a meeting with me, like a Calendly, and you can just go book a meeting with me, and then I just show them. It shows up on my calendar, and you can go from there too. So that's really how I do that. And then I also end the video the same way, which is like, I hope you like this video. Subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up. Keep it simple.
So it's always a call to action, and then you pack a lot of value in the video, and
Yeah.
through that, they're kind of getting to know you through just watching your content.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. All right. And then what are you finding to be like the most effective videos? Like, is it the ones where you're walking around with your camera talking? Or is it more the stuff where you're just doing talking head videos where you're sitting in your office and explaining a particular market?
Yeah. So it's really tough to pinpoint it in a way, but like the top videos, right? Like top 10 reasons, top 5 towns, top best schools. These kinds of videos tend to do better than other videos. But it's really hard to understand how YouTube, the algorithm works, right? So you can do those videos and they're going to do well, but it's look like I've done so many videos, like at some point you just run out of shit to say. And then you're like trying to reinvent things. Like sometimes I'll even grab the old videos and I look at them, I'm like, all right, let me do an updated version of this because a couple of things have changed, for example, in the neighborhood, right? And you can see that the same video, it's actually better production. I sound better on camera, better editing, better camera, better lighting, the whole thing, and it still doesn't do as well as my last video did. So it's like it's hard to comprehend, right? It's hard to understand which ones do better. So that's why the goal is you want to get your speaking camera and skills at a certain level. That's one. Two, you want to have a basic level of production. Some lighting, like right now I have lights, right? Some lighting, decent mic, decent camera. And then you want to get them edited, right? Like ums and ahs have to be kind of cut out so that it flows the video. B-roll is keep it simple. You want to do that so that it keeps the audience engaged, and then just keep making videos. And once you see something doing better than others, go back to the video and try to identify why this video did better. You know what I mean? And then just kind of go from there.
That's huge. Okay, that makes sense. Now, with these videos, like, are there any lessons you learned that really made your channel take a leap? Like, I can give you one, for example, like thumbnail quality, like when you're designing
Yes.
thumbnails that make people want to click the video, things like that. Is there anything that really like aha moments that made you say, oh, wow, this is working really well. I need to do this on every single one?
Yeah, thumbnails was one. Two, short intro and get right into the video. Don't, like I see a lot of people, they're like, they make a stupid joke in the beginning. Like people don't care about you. Like they're not watching this video because of you. Like you're not like a star yet. You know what I mean? You could do that later because then you become a credible source to those people, and they're going to later on, they're going to trust your opinion on things. So then you can kind of make it more about yourself. But in the beginning, you're going to say, here's the top 10 reasons why you should move to Providence, Rhode Island. By the way, my name is Albert. Subscribe to our channel. My number is right below. Link is below if you want to book a meeting. Let's get into the video. Bang. And right away, you get into the video. If you go, oh, yeah, also, just, I'm a real estate agent. I don't only do videos. Ha, ha, ha. Sell, click, done. And that's it. Like people are not watching anymore. You lost them. That's it. So it's like those details that the only way you find out is by shooting the video, you know?
That's so true. That is so true. Now, as far as like, this is one thing that a lot of people question is with the YouTube channel itself, would you recommend branding it to yourself? So it would be your name. Do you recommend branding it if you have a team to your team, or should it be something completely different? Like I know you had living in Rhode Island, and that was very successful. I think it got you to 1,000 subscribers just with that brand itself. So what's your take on
Yeah.
that?
I liked living in Rhode Island, and I honestly I wish I still maybe had the name, but I decided to change it because I wanted it to be my name. Because what you have to understand is that you can have your channel be named whatever, right? Like people are not searching your channel, people are searching the content, right? So people are searching move into Providence, move into Boston, whatever they're searching. So it doesn't matter. So that's why I decided to change it. So I said, I want my name, my personal name to be the brand. And then the content can still be top 5 reasons, top 10 reasons, this, that, but I wanted my name. So I think you go both ways. And I also decided to change it because since it got so popular and a lot of people started doing it, it's like living in it everywhere. You know what I mean? Living in Connecticut, living in West Warwick, it's
Yeah.
everywhere. So
Yeah.
I decided to just change it to my name and then keep it that way.
That's huge. And now one of the cool things about YouTube is it actually becomes an asset. So talking about the financial piece of it, like what kind of income has this channel generated for you? Just so agents out there can kind of see the value of it. In what ways are you generating income? Is it just primarily through sales? Are you getting ad revenue? Like what's the whole story behind it?
I want to say this year, probably YouTube has generated me about 40, 50 grand,
Wow.
but that's all commissions. That is all commissions. Um, As far as ad revenue, I just literally like a month and a half got the like I hit the goals that you can start getting ad revenue, but it's nothing right now. I mean, I generate very little. So right now it's purely the leads that are coming to my channel.
That's huge. That is huge though, but that's significant. I mean, that's 40,
Yeah,
$50,000 worth of income from a channel. I mean,
yeah,
that's incredible.
absolutely. Yeah, and I'm happy. I never had an intention to like make money out of YouTube, and I honestly I don't think it's very hard to with the content that we put out to get to a level where you can earn like a living type income from YouTube. You know, it's the certain kind of videos. You know, if you don't mind, I want to get into something else that I've kind of through research have realized for myself through the frustrations of I wanted to be by to 20,000 subscribers by now, and being frustrated that I wasn't there yet, I started researching and trying to understand why. So, like, if somebody's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I think this is super crucial for you to understand. What we do, right? Like these living in Rhode Island, living in Newport type channels are super niche. Okay. And the only people are looking up is if they have some sort of direct correlation with your content. This is not Mr. Beast type. Hey, look me eat like 50 Skittles and like stuff 50 Skittles in my mouth. Like it's a different kind of content, right? So, so for that reason, it's really important because I would look at channels like Colorado or Texas or whatever, right? And they'd have 20,000 subscribers, 100,000 views in their videos. And I'm like, I look at their videos, I look at mine, I'm like, they're just as good. Like I'm right there. I'm not saying I'm better, maybe I'm slightly worse, but it's there. Like the video is not the reason. Like the video is not the reason why I'm not gaining 10,000 views a day or 100,000 views or have 10,000 subscribers. It's the content that you're putting out. Meaning, if you go on, like I have a keywords everywhere explorer, right, on Google, and if you just type there Providence, Rhode Island, versus if you type Boston, if you type Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Denver, Colorado, the search volume is in Providence, you have probably 10,000 searches a month or something like that. And then you go to these big cities and you have 2 million a month. So it's more people searching for the thing than yes, YouTube is going to show it to you. So you have to keep that in mind. And also I started understanding that. I'm like, okay, like that's why I got to pivot. Like I got to figure out how to gain more views and gain more traction because the way I'm doing it is not quite working.
That's a good point. Search traffic
Yeah.
makes all the difference. If you're targeting keywords and they just don't have that much,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't expect to have
It's just, you just have to think about how many people are moving to Rhode Island versus Denver, Colorado.
big difference.
And then go from there. And you have to accept that as a reality. Like you can't say, oh, I'm going to get to 100,000 subscribers. You're not. Not with that content. Like you do other content that is entertaining. Yeah. I mean, you can get, that doesn't matter where you are. But with this kind of content that is lead focus is to generate leads for the business, you're not getting there. You're just not.
And that's the thing too. You don't have to get there to make good money. Like, I mean, you can get to 1,000 or 1,500
Yeah.
subscribers that are really engaged and make, $100,000 a year from your channel. So
Yes.
that's the best part about it. Now with people that are starting this, I mean, I feel like a lot of people start their channel and they realize it's harder than it looks, and then they give up. What would you say to people that are starting a channel? They maybe shot some videos, they're not getting any views. It's like crickets every time they post. What would you say to them? Like, because we've all been there. I've been there with my channel. You've been there with your channel. What advice would you give to those people?
If I were to start over the channel, I'll take it that direction. If I were to start the channel over, I probably would have shot 100 videos before I posted my first one, and then I would have just grabbed the other channels that are already successful, look at their videos, and just try to get as good as those guys are or girls, right? I would try to get as good as they are, and you can see why I wasn't as good in the beginning. I just wasn't, but I wish I would have like shot 100 videos and then like schedule them to post like every 3 days, bang, 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 bang. And then you just develop this crazy momentum and library, right? Rather than, you shoot one video and then you shoot another one 3 weeks later, you're frustrated because it didn't do well. You don't know what other video to shoot. So this way you just shoot all of them that they're telling you to shoot. get as high quality as possible, post them, and I think you'd see much more success that way. The other thing, definitely invest in some sort of course or whatever, whoever has that course. Definitely invest in something to understand the basic of what you're doing. I don't believe that you can shoot a YouTube video with your phone. I just don't. I really don't believe it. You can shoot it, but it's got to be the right lighting, the right audio, and then the content. Like, you have to have good content. You can't just talk there like, oh yeah, there's this bakery down the street. What's the name of it? And then you're just thinking on the video. Like, you can't do that. You really have to be banged. Like, give it, like, that's the type of content we're making. You know, we're not making a content that is casual lifestyle. This is more informative, like news. Like, you got to give it to people quick. When they're just going to go like I find myself, if I'm trying to learn something, like whatever it is, and if I go through it, I'm like, I put it on, if it's boring, I just put it on like 1.5 speed, right? I listen to it quick, and then I'm like, okay, I got to just skip this because it was just like rambling. I got to find what I'm looking for. So just keep that in mind, you know, because most people do that.
That's huge. So now, speaking of, equipment, you mentioned shooting from your phone, doing things in that way is probably not the best thing. What would you say investment wise you need to kind of put aside to invest in starting a quality channel?
$500.
500?
$500. You get a no, sorry, no, probably 800. You want to get a camera, like I have a Canon M50 Mark II or whatever. So that'll cost you like $450. You could buy a used one for probably $350. That'll be fine. That's one. A mic. You need a mic. A mic is probably going to run you about $100, like a decent mic. Or you could do a lapel for 85. That's fine too. Lighting, basic lighting could cost you like $100. You want to go crazy, $200. And then you want to find an editor. I wouldn't try to become an editor myself. I just wouldn't. It's just not worth it, because it's a highly skilled thing, and it's better that you just find someone and then you pay them per video. There's a lot of people, like I have people now, because of the channel, they've reached out to me like, hey, let me edit a video for you for $50 or $40. And it's worth paying that, because once you shoot a video like that, you're going to see the amount of subscribers you're going to get versus you trying to edit in a video yourself, and it just looks terrible.
Now, did you try to edit yourself when you first started?
Yeah.
You did?
I wish I didn't. I did like the first 4, and I was like, this is, I mean, the amount of time it takes, it's not a joke, you know. It's because you got to remember, like, we're not YouTubers, we're real estate agents. So like, I don't have the time to sit there for 4 hours and edit a video. But if you want to, it's going to take you about 4 hours to edit it if you want it to come out nice. And still, it's not going to come as nice as somebody who is a professional at that. It might take them 40 minutes to edit.
That's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. So basically, you're looking at audio equipment, a camera setup, and lighting, and then an editor as you produce more videos. Yeah. Honestly, I would budget for the editor day one. I would find the editor before I even start shooting. That's huge. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Now, so all in all, with all your social media, how many sales have you converted so far to date with this process? I'd say like maybe about 15 deals I've done from YouTube since I started, from all my social media. It's nothing crazy. I don't want to sit here and tell you I've done more than I did. I've done about 15 deals, but I'm happy with it because of our area. I know the capacity of what our YouTube channel generates, right? But again, I don't want this interview to just be, me YouTube, because that's a thing that I do, but I honestly don't think it's the most valuable thing, because also us as agents, we do tend to go towards whatever is the easiest thing for us to not do the hard thing, which is the hard thing is we have to prospect. We have to pitch our services directly to possible people. Yes, content is better. Content is more like branding, but we have to prospect and really pitch our services to real people, which is you got to pick up the phone, you got to call people, you got to meet them people face to face and in person. I still think that's more valuable. By the way, the most successful agents, meaning the agents who are selling the most real estate, are not even on social media. Yeah, true. And you know that. Yes. Like, it's just, they don't care. Obviously some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. It is true. So it's going to be like a pillar in your marketing funnel, not the entire thing. It's branding. Yeah, it's branding. It's branding. That makes sense. It's like supplemental in a way.
Yeah.
That's huge. Okay. All right. That makes sense. And now as far as the prospecting stuff goes, um, when you get started with prospecting, if someone's thinking about getting into real estate, what lead sources would you target first? Would you be buying Google leads? Would you do Zillow? Would you reach out to your sphere of influence? Or would you go more of like the, Red X, calling for sale by owner, for rent by owner, all that kind of stuff?
I would go the route of first low cost, high skill, and high output requirement to succeed.
Yes.
So meaning I would go for sale by owner, expire, open house, and I would try to succeed with those, because with those you need to have skill. Like if you meet a buyer or a seller at an open house, you need to be able to have a conversation in a way where it's conversational, but you're qualifying them. Meaning, do you own a home? How long you've been there? Why are you here? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? What's your timeline? Where are you from originally? Where are you going? Let's connect, grab their information, right? So you got to be able to do that. And that is the skill and repetition, And then once you learn that, honestly, like once you learn those conversations, it's going to even help you with your YouTube channel. It's because it's going to just make you a better speaker overall. And you're going to be able to persuade people in a more efficient way. And then same with the phone calls, same with the prospecting, right? Like if you call an expired listing, which is not a lot of them now, but whatever, even if it's one, if you want to call them, you have to be sharp on the phone. You have to know why you're calling them. You need to script, right? You need to understand what you're talking about, how you're saying it, right? Like, hi, this is Albert. Here's the reason for my call. Ask a question. Do all that in 4 seconds. Sound enthusiastic, and then get like it's skill, and it's a undeniable skill. Like if you have that skill, no matter the market, no matter the situation, you're still going to be succeeding. So that's what I would do, and then I would also focus heavily on my sphere. The people that I know, I would engage them in certain ways, so that they're rooting for you and giving you business as well.
So now what with the sphere of influence marketing, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people have kind of forgotten about in a way, and they're looking at buying leads and doing all this stuff. So with the SOI marketing, what things have you found to be most successful in, getting those referrals in and staying close with that SOI?
Yeah. It's funny you're saying that, because I was at the same belief. I didn't do it in the last 3 years. I didn't do it. I started doing last year, and I've been doing more of it this year. Right. And the reason why, I was going through my CRM the other day, and I was looking at a Zillow lead that never responded to me, but I called them 25 times, and I sent them like 45 emails and probably another 45 text messages. Okay. In 30 days. And then I look at my sphere of people who trust me, right? And I've called them once in 2 years. But these people have sent me referrals just because they remember. Like I haven't done anything to stay top of mind with them, right? So I decided, you know what, I'm going to focus more on my sphere. So now what I do is I try to touch them 3 times 3 times a month. So I send them a mailer every month. And the mailer is always like, I engage them, right? Like the mailer is always engaging. The mailer is like the last one I set was kind of like a token of appreciation type mailer about them supporting me and sending me business, and how their support really means my success in business, right? Like, so you engage and they're rooting for you. And literally the next day I got 2 phone calls, 2 referrals after the mailer was delivered.
Wow.
Right.
That's
yeah.
incredible.
And then I get another call like a week later of a guy said, hey, I tried to get you a listing. My neighbor's selling, but I'm sorry, I couldn't. Right. Like that's how they're thinking. And I'm like, that's what I want. Like, that's what I want my people to think. Also, when you get a referral from your sphere, it's the easiest deal of your life, right? It's a great deal because they trust you already. You're a credible source. If you're converting leads, it's a tough grinding type business, right? So that's what I do. So I send a mailer every month. I call them. I stay in touch with social media too. Like when I post content, when I post something I like, comment and things like that, shoot them a text here and there. That's really what I do with my sphere.
That's huge. That's a game changer. So now with the third piece, which is the phone call, I feel like a lot of agents that I've even talked to get hung up on that part. Like they'll send the mailer, they'll send the text message, they'll do the social media stuff, but getting to that phone call every single month, they wonder like, hey, what do I say? Like, what goes on in that phone call?
It could be as simple, hey, Chris, I'm just checking in. How's everything going? How's the family? That's it. And then they're going to talk to you. Like they're going to start like, don't think about it this way, right? Most people have regular jobs. They're not being bombarded with salespeople all the time. We are, because we're like in sales, we're entrepreneurs, so it's different, right? But they are not. Like they're most of the time they're happy. I'm talking 98% of the time, they're happy to hear from you. And then they're going to tell you, oh, well, I did this to the house. I'm doing this addition to the house. Oh, by the way, do you know a contractor? And that's it. You're in it already. Boom. Now, if they say, do you know a contractor? You say, yeah, I'll send you a referral. Now, next month when you call, you say, hey, just want to check in. How's the deck coming? How's the roof coming along? Right? So it's just that, you know what I mean? And it's just, it's simple, natural. It's like how you check on your friends. Like it's just, that's how it should be. And I never ask for a referral. Like I'm never saying, hey, you know, like the old school scripts, it's like, hey, you know, I know I helped you buy a house, but what is it called? Like, do you know anyone else who I could help you just like you? Like that's so corny and so like 80s, you know what I mean? But people
Yeah.
still, the reason why they're afraid to do it is because that's how they do it. Like that's what they think they should do. Just check in with people like normal people. And by the way, I never bring up real estate. They bring it up all the time because they know it, right? Like it's like they're like, oh yeah. By the way, they always say, oh, if I know someone who's looking to buy, I'm going to send them your way. I never ask. They always say it.
So
It's
they're already
because
thinking that ahead of time. You don't even
yeah,
have.
they think about yeah. You don't have to ask them. You really don't. You just have to be there, and you genuinely have to be there as a source. Like if you close someone in a house, you got to check in on them. You know, um, and it sucks sometimes. Like I called a buyer that I helped them buy like 3 months ago. I called her 2 weeks ago. She goes, "Oh yeah, we found out we had like a rat issue in the house." I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't want to hear this right now." But it is what it is. And then I end up helping them out. I found them a company, and like we've been in touch. So like you develop a strong relationship after the closing by doing things like that.
So it's always adding value and just being that hub of kind of connecting people and bringing them together in a way.
Correct.
That's huge. Okay, that's huge. And I think that makes agents feel a lot better about it. They're not just calling like, hey, give me business. You're like, hey, how can I call this person and see how they're doing, how I can add value? Maybe I can connect them with a contractor. Maybe, there's something I can do to help them out and just stay in front of them that way. Because it's a much more natural phone call if that's the conversations that are
Yeah.
being.
Yeah. And this is assuming that, you have a CRM and you know them, like you know their partner, you know their kids, you know their pets, right? Like connect with them on social media. Like one of my clients, their dog, it was her dog's birthday. So I just sent her like a little treat in the mail. And then she called me. She's like, "Oh, this. Thank you so much." Blah blah blah. It's just that. It's just so easy. You know what I mean? But I would do that even if they were just my friends, and even if I was doing something completely different that is not real estate. Like I'm not doing that so that I can get something from them. I genuinely want to stay in touch with them.
Exactly. You want to help. And now this is another one. What would you say to agents that are operating their business without a CRM? Because I'm always talking about CRMs in this channel. I think it's super important. I don't know
Dude,
how
I'm
you
not.
function without it.
I, I'm not. I don't know how you could do that. I just don't understand. I honestly, if there's people who succeed, but I'm like, if you're selling 30 homes without a CRM, you're probably gonna sell 80 with the CRM. Like it's that easy, It's just it's crazy. I mean, it's everything happens in one place, and they're continually innovating. They're making things better every day. Like I can't comprehend people without a CRM. I can't. I don't even know what to say. I mean, just get one.
I think
you
it's the
know,
best investment you can make in your business, in my opinion.
absolutely, 100%.
I mean, because even if you're doing SOI stuff, it's still applicable. If you're chasing leads, it's applicable. If you're doing YouTube stuff, it's applicable. I mean, it's kind of like the entire
Staying in touch with your sphere is applicable. Like it's.
total game changer.
Yeah.
That is huge. That is really good. So before we wrap up, what books would you recommend to any real estate entrepreneurs that are looking to kind of get their business off the ground and be successful and be their own boss?
Oh man. Let me um I'm gonna pull up my Audible right now, and I'm gonna give you, because I do read a good amount, but I want to give you like ones that I repeatedly read. That's what I'm gonna try to give you.
Okay.
All right. So, uh, my number one book as far as getting fired up is "Be Obsessed or Be Average" by Grant Cardone.
Okay.
Yeah, like I literally I have it in the queue. I'm finishing up a different book, and then I have it in the queue. I've read it 4 times, so like I'm gonna read it again
Wow.
now. It fires you up the way he narrates the book, and it's like a motivation. It's like a motivational video, but for for however many hours it is, like 3 4 hours. It's really cool. Like just his attitude is amazing on that book.
I gotta check it
Can't
out.
Hurt Me by David Goggins is another one that I really love. Um, and then $100 Million Offers by Alex Armozy. This is more of a technical book. I'm honestly like I'm gonna reread that again because it's a lot of information. So it's like I'm gonna slow down. I didn't think it was gonna be that deep, but I have to slow down one more time and read it again and just kind of understand. Basically, the whole point of the $100 Million Offers is like if you have a really good offer that people feel stupid saying no to, they're most likely going to say yes, and that's how you're going to get more business, right? So it's like he tells you how to structure a really good offer. So basically, in business, like, hey, you know, I don't know, like if you work with me as a listing agent, this is what I can deliver, and if I don't do that, I'll do it for free, or like things like that. You know what I mean? That people it would be feel stupid to say no to it, and then um, I'll repeat this one too. I actually have it right here. This is called
Okay.
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Uh, it's not an easy read, so you got to like take your time with it. But it's he's I'm sure people know who he is. Like he's the father of Stoicism, basically, and this is his thoughts. Like he wrote this book. This is his diary, right? Like he basically wrote his thoughts here, and this was not the intention of him publishing. Like that notebook was found hundreds of years later, and then people grabbed it and republished it in like today's language. But like that, you see like one of the most powerful men in the world of what he goes through and how he processes issues and how relevant it is to today. And it's just crazy. It's just like the idea is just whatever comes to you, it just is. It's good, great, bad, great. Like it life just is. So I think, yeah, I think these are probably the books that I would suggest people read.
And that stoicism is so important in this business because a lot of the things is up
Yeah,
and down. It's like a roller coaster. It's like a total roller coaster.
100%, man.
So, how important is reading for anybody that's into entrepreneurship?
I think it's very important. I really do. I try to read as much as I can. I don't try to read like for my count, like just have be like, oh, I read this many books. Like I said, like most books I reread because I either find new information when I reread them or I just get a refresh, right? It's almost like I know what I'm gonna get from the book when I read it. So I'm looking forward to reading it again, type of thing. So yeah, I think it's super important for motivation purposes, to just expand your mind on thinking critically about the business. And also if you're looking to build, like if you're looking to build a real estate business or whatever kind of, or a team, right? Like I have another book down here. Let me show you. It's called The Five Dysfunctions of a Team. It's written by Patrick Lencioni. It's a whole made up story in the book of like this new CEO coming to the company. It's a dysfunctional, toxic environment, but like she grabs it, turns it around, and makes it a profitable company. You could see like what it takes to build a team and how sometimes you got to let go of your best people because they're toxic, and she does things like that in that situation. And yeah, like this could be a really good book if you're in real estate and if you're looking to build a team.
That's huge. That is awesome. So, before we wrap up, what are the things that you're excited about with your real estate business? You've already had a lot of success, but where do you see your business going in the future?
Yeah. So I'm excited. I recently joined Real Broker. I'm excited about that opportunity. I love the company. I think it's a fast forward, futuristic disruptor type company in our business. I know you also joined Real, so I'm very excited about that. I love the opportunity that the agent is truly in the forefront of the company. Like, every brokerage will tell you we're about you, but this is not. Like you have low splits, revenue share, stock options, the newest tech available. You get the biggest mastermind in our industry to network with. Like an example, we have our event in October, and Alex Hormozy is the keynote speaker, right? So I'm going to get to see him. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about the company. I'm excited about spreading the word and informing as many agents as possible about Real and because I really believe that it's going to be a $100,000 agent company probably in the next 5 years. It's only growing, and we have a really cool movement. You can see because you were at EXP before, and now you're at Real, and you can kind of see the difference and how this is. It just feels more natural than any other company you've been a part of. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for my business. I'm going to continue to sell real estate and grow. And then I'm also expanding into home flipping. So I'm looking to do more home flips and finding opportunities that way. But yeah, that's really what I'm working on for the next 24 months.
That's huge. That is phenomenal. Well, hey man, thank you for coming on the show. It's been excellent. You dropped a lot of knowledge. And if you guys have questions for Albert, drop it in the comment section below. He'll do his best to drop in and answer those if he can.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And you guys have an awesome day.